Fight fans, fight fans, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. And when people ask for it, I give it to them. You know, Boxingego, he asked for a counter. So he has to be counterpunched. And I have to counterpunch a video that he put out concerning Dillian White. And of course, I've already covered this, but this is Dillian White about his comments concerning Anthony Joshua picking easy fights, okay, and him walking away from the $50 million, okay. So Boxingego goes on to, of course, co-sign for Dillian White. Dillian White states that Anthony Joshua walked away from the $50 million, and that's his source. That's Ego's source, because Dillian White said that Anthony Joshua walked away with $50 million regardless of the stipulations about the $50 million. Okay. Now, he also stated that Mike Tyson, they pick guys like Mike Tyson that don't like Deontay Wilder, and they listen to what he says as an ambassador because Mike's a legend. And, and Mike says some coonish stuff like, I wouldn't fight Spilky and, impersonating Mike, which was good impersonations, by the way. Got to give him that. But he says that's what they'll do. They'll make videos about Mike Tyson saying something bad about Deontay Wilder. Okay, let me counterpunch this. So you're talking about people that make videos about Mike Tyson in reference to Deontay Wilder, like you just made a video about Dillian White saying something negative or something that you agree with about Anthony Joshua because you don't like Anthony Joshua. See, here's the thing. Dillian White is saying certain things for certain reasons. First of all, you always have to look for the angle. The angle is what with Dillian White? Dillian White is a guy that wanted to fight either fighter, but he definitely wanted Deontay Wilder. He thought he was in the right position to fight Wilder. But what happened, Wilder froze him out, okay? They proved that on AK and Barack, okay? He showed everyone, that's probably viral by now. The message has been out that Deontay DM'd him and told him, I don't have to fight you for 2 years. Deontay called Dillian White a peasant. A king don't chase the peasants. A king chase kings, right? He said that. So he wasn't interested in fighting Dillian White. So when someone like Dillian White sees an offer that comes to another fighter that you've been beat by, that beat him, of $50 million, of course he would have thought that. And he should say that, because if it was him, meaning Dillian White, he would have took $50 million, regardless of who the hell he was signed with. He would have took it because he would have got the chance to make $50 million and have the opportunity to fight for the WBC belt. And I understand Dillian White's frustration, because he thought when he went there and called Anthony Joshua a lanky piece of shit, he thought Anthony Joshua was going to make a fight right then and there. But unfortunately for Dillian White, it were bigger fish to fry. Just like with Deontay Wilder freezing him out, there was supposedly bigger fish to fry, which was AJ, right? So he's stuck in the middle. Dillian White is a rising fighter, okay? He has a following. He puts people in the seats. But I repeat, he is not that guy yet. And it's frustrating for him because he wants to be that guy. He's being froze out by one guy and has been put on a back burner by Joshua for the guy that's freezing him out. So that's the reason, Boxingego, that Dillian White's saying what he's saying, because he thought that he was going to get a fight out of calling Anthony Joshua a lanky piece of shit, and it didn't work the way he thought it was. Okay, so let me put you in your own hot seat. You're in your own shit. Okay, so that's your source for what Dillian White said for AJ walking away from $50 million. Okay, second thing, AJ could walk away from $50 million if it resulted in him breaching his contract. Okay? You're not even bringing that to the forefront. You act like you don't have the information. And he says stuff like, oh, with the information before, now it's just so much information because Dillian White is co-signing. Well, he sounds new media-ish. He sounds new media-ish. What are you talking about? He sounds like a dude that wants to fight someone and he can't get these fights because people are dicking him around. And the people that are dicking him around isn't AJ. He's still in the bid to fight AJ. It may or may not happen. It's like maybe a 50 to 70% chance of him fighting. And how Dillian White's doing it now, he's saying that Boxingego, for one, he can either piss Anthony Joshua off, which it didn't work, but I think it did because if he paid attention to the interview after that, AJ was pissed off. He just conducted himself in a certain manner in the public eye. But under that interview, he was pissed because he said, I already knocked this guy out. Okay, and I'm going to get to that in a little bit. Or Dillian White saying that because he's trying to co-sign what Deontay Wilder and all these other cats with the LBDBC saying. He's like, okay, if I can't beat him or I can't fight him, join him. And either way, that may or may not get me a fight. But Deontay Wilder has told Dillian White, if you want to fight me, fight Luis Ortiz to prove yourself. Then I'll give you a fight. My word is bond. Maybe he's going that route. Maybe not. Okay? So if Deontay Wilder told him that, in my mind, if you already got blown off as a peasant, you should have took that opportunity to begin with. You should have fought Ortiz and be like, look, I beat Ortiz. What do you got for me? Now, come on. Come with me. I'm the WBC silver. Come take me on now. Are you a man about your word or am I still a peasant? I've beat the guy that is your only credible leg to stand on. So now what do you got? See, Dillian White could do that, but he refuses to do that because he's waiting, like Dominique Brazil, waiting for an opportunity that may or may not come right away. Okay? So that's the problem with boxing at this point. Everything is on a freeze because Deontay Wilder wants to fight Fury, and then Joshua wants to fight Deontay Wilder, but Deontay Wilder don't want to fight anyone but Fury. Okay? So that freezes everybody from doing particular things. So it looks good for Dillian White. But for him saying that, he thinks it's going to make it or break it. That's my counterpunch on that. So with Boxingego saying things like, oh, it's easier fights. I've been saying AJ takes easier fights. Just like Dillian White is now saying he takes easier fights. Okay. Easier fights. Easier than your fucking self? You knocked out Dillian White. Yeah, he hurt you, but you knocked him out nonetheless. So I don't know what Dillian White's talking about. He sounds like a hypocrite at this point because you're saying that AJ's taking easier fights that can make more money. It seems like to me you're kind of jelly. You're jealous because you know no one's offering you $50 million, Dillian White. No one's offering you fights from Pavectin and fights like that. You know, nobody's offering him those opportunities. You know, so it's easy for you to see one guy that turns down a certain amount of money that you would have took without thinking, without blinking. He would have took that money. To this day, he would have took that money, right? But that didn't happen for Dillian White. So Dillian White is looking at another fighter, and I think it's envy. I think it's jealousy on steroids. That's what envy is, right? So that's what I feel. And he's feeling that, hey, I might get overlooked for Jarrell Miller if Joshua decides to go to the UK, because what people don't understand about this, Joshua still has options, okay? And it doesn't revolve around Dillian White. Dillian White is the mandatory for Deontay Wilder. It's not the other way around, guys, okay? It's just that Joshua in Matchroom has acknowledged Dillian White to be a guy that has fought to a certain limit to be respectable enough to get a rematch, just like Derek Chisora did with him, supposedly, which I don't agree. I don't think you beat Carlos Takam and all of a sudden you fight Dillian White. I think Dillian White should have fought Ortiz. You see what I'm saying? Just because they had a good fight before, I get that, but that doesn't really automatically grant you another fight with Dillian White that fast for the WBC silver. In that case, that should mean I just did a video on Takam, right? That means Takam has every right to ask for that back. If the only person, you've only been beaten by Chisora, so Chisora has to go through Takam to earn a right at Dillian White. Think about that, guys. That's something to think about. But see, Boxingego signing off on it because it sounds some shit like he says. You know, it goes along what he been saying. I've been saying this for jump. Okay? You know, you've been hating since. We know you don't like Anthony Joshua. I get it. I get you don't like that guy. You know what I mean? So anybody that says something about that guy, then you like that guy. You know? So how does it go? Is the enemy of the enemy my friend or my enemy, right? Is that it? Maybe this is what's going on with that, since Dillian White is a UK guy saying the same thing he's saying. You know? But he's saying it for different reasons, Boxingego. That's it. And I just explained to you what those reasons are, where Dillian White is in his career versus where he wants to be. And where he wants to be, he can't get there without fighting those fighters. Like your favorite fighters, that like Deontay Wilder, that froze him the fuck out. And then he can't get that. He can't do anything about it because Deontay Wilder doesn't have to fight anyone, obviously, because he's put back in his place. Like you guys just see my video, putting Deontay back in his place. Deontay's back in his place. He'll fight Dominic Breazeale. He's not going to take on Dillian White. Why? You know what I mean? He doesn't have to do that. Not right now. So if he doesn't have to do it right now, you think Deontay's going to do it? You think Deontay's been forced to fight formidable opponents this whole time? It took him 10 years to fight, you know, Luis Ortiz and Tyson Fury. Okay? So no, he doesn't have to hurry up and do anything. Hell, he turned down $30 million to fight Joshua. Oh, Boxingego, you're not talking about that, are you? All you can talk about is he's desperate. Oh, JJ's desperate at this point. New media. Bullshit. You know what I mean? Talk about everything. Let's bring it all out on the table. So if Dillian White is your only source for vouching your opinion, oh, I feel bad for you. And for that reason, you've been counterpunched. You guys tell me what you think about this video. Of course, please subscribe. And again, you guys been counterpunched. Peace.